Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, the Yankees complete their first regular season series of the 2023 season, taking the Giants, San Francisco Giants. They had 2-1. Really should have been a sweep, but unfortunately Clarke Schmidt, Michael King, and a little bit of Clay Holmes raveled in the second game there, which we'll get into. But nevertheless, start off the season on a pretty, positive note. Taking 2 out of 3 from the Giants. So we'll get into all that as well as tell you about a new Yankee, Colton Brewer. Kind of mentioned again with Florial up to start the season. Rumor was, or at least it seemed like he was going to be traded somewhere. Well, it wasn't exactly. He was traded. He was kind of holding a spot for a pitcher, which eventually became Colton Brewer. So kind of get into that, my feelings as well as some injury update news on both Severino as well as Harrison Beta. Again, 2 big cogs that, the Yankees are going to be depending on this season. But we've got a long way to go, so make sure you subscribe to this podcast, get little wrap-ups like this, get little updates on news, injuries, and little side treats only available for podcast subscribers. So even if you like the show on YouTube and if you're somewhere in the New York area, you get to see it on TV. But this is additional content here for this audio podcast, and the only way you can get it is to be a podcast subscriber. So wherever you get your favorite podcast, wherever you're listening right now, make sure you subscribe. So the Yankees, what I mentioned before was the textbook opening day win against the San Francisco Giants. I mean, everything just went near perfect. You got a great outing from Cole. You got a home run from Judge, and the Yankees pretty much didn't even break a sweat. And as I kind of mentioned at the start of the previous episode, just that Giants lineup was just kind of pitiful, and there's really no reason why the Yankees should have really swept them. But unfortunately, it wasn't the case. The Giants did take the middle game there by a score of 7-5. So it was Clarke Schmidt on the mound versus Alex Cobb. And the Yankees got a lot of breaks early in this game. The umpire gave Yankee hitters very generous strikes early on against Alex Cobb. And in fact, Alex Cobb himself coughed up a ball, which led to the Yankees' first run. It was a comeback up the middle with Stanton. Cobb fielded it and kind of had a lazy throw to second base. The ball kind of sailed, went over the second baseman, head into center field, and the Yankees were able to score their first run of the game there. And then, with an opportunity, maybe put a couple more on the board. Unfortunately, though, Donaldson struck out. Caught looking strike 3 there, and of course Gleyber Torres also caught looking to strike out there. So could have been a spot where the Yankees maybe could have put up a couple more runs. They had Cobb on the ropes early there. He was running up his pitch count, and that was really the opportunity where, again, the Yankees really maybe could have took a stranglehold on the game at that point. Only up 1-0, they should have been up more. But the Yankees would score a little bit later on in the third inning. Again, at the point, only still 1-0. Stanton with his first home run of the season, really of the year. Again, had none in spring. Kind of one of those laser, kind of those golf swing type of home runs we see from Stanton. And instead of this time, those to right field. And you would say maybe it's a bit of a Yankee Stadium sort of home run, but nevertheless, the Yankees at that point up 2-0, and looked like it was going to be another kind of another laugher similar to the first game. But unfortunately, Clarke Schmidt, after 2 decent innings, the third, after 3 decent innings, unfortunately, the fourth started to unravel a little bit for him, giving up the home run to Jock Peterson, and then a 2-run home run to Crawford. Put the Giants up at that point 3-2. And like I say, that was the game. But really, if Schmidt could have got out of that cleanly, you kind of felt he would kind of got on a roll, and the Yankees would have gone to the bullpen. That would have been it there. So now the Yankees would fight back in this one, make it a bit of a back-and-forth tussle, and the Yankees would eventually tie it up. And then in the 6th inning, with Michael King in on his 2nd inning of work, again, King's going to be a very important cog as well. We got, make sure he's pitching the way he was last year before he got hurt. And this was a big, I'm not saying it was a big spot for King, but this was an important spot for King. And unfortunately, for the first test of the season for him, did not go well. Let a few runners on. And you can say it wasn't really his fault. I mean, there were a couple of infield singles, but unfortunately, with runners on, Yankees were able to get outs from that. The Giants were able to push across 2 more runs to take a 5-3 lead. Again, King, he was sloppy. He gave up a double and a hit, and he actually hit a batter. So his fault to blame. But also, again, a couple of just kind of infield hits there. It's just something that you really do about as a pitcher. So not completely his fault, but again, he wasn't exactly sharp and not exactly the King we saw in spring training, who pretty much looked flawless. So now I wouldn't put too much, worry into that because Clay Holmes wasn't that bad. It wasn't as good as either. Their last game was Tuesday. They had obviously couple of off days, and of course, first game of the year was Thursday, then had another off day. So, King and Holmes, I wouldn't worry about it too much. And this is more that they haven't pitched in a while and they're kind of out of rhythm. So, and again, for them to be a little, not to be sharp in this first game, again, they haven't pitched in a while in live action. I wouldn't stress it too much, but nevertheless, neither of them were good. Again, the Yankees inched a little closer. You got the first home run of the year for Josh Donaldson. So they pull it to 5-4. But in the 7th, Holmes would give up a couple more runs as well, and the Yankees would fall behind 7-4. Now, the Yankees would inch back in the ninth inning and had an opportunity to actually, with everything, that had gone bad with Yankee pitching wise, actually had a situation where they could have had a walk-off, or at least tied the game in the ninth inning with bases loaded and Danilo Doval on the mound. Stanton was up. Again, this is the Stanton who had a laser home run early in the game. Bases loaded, only one out, but unfortunately grounds into the thing you don't want him to do, the double play, and Doval escapes, by the skin of his teeth, and the Giants take the second game there 7-5. So, it was good the Yankees showed up a little fight there. Hicks struck out to start the inning, but Volpe got a hit to get on. The Yankees put a few runners on there, had the bases loaded. So even though you lose the game, you kind of got that little bit of the moral victory but we didn't give up. And it was right there for the taking. And again, if Stanton could have put a good swing on a ball, get a ball in the gap, the Yankees possibly maybe could clear the bases and had to walk off there. A home run would have been nice, but anything there you want in that situation but a double play. But unfortunately, it's a double play, and the Yankees lose that second game there 7-5. So the third game, now, before we get into that, actually, I wanted to, backtrack a little bit. So after the first game, the Yankees made a move. So they traded for Colton Brewer from the Rays, and again, I don't understand this move. And to make room on the roster there, they designated Florial for assignment. Again, Florial was kind of dead to rights because, again, he was out of options. So the fact that they started him with the season, that you knew he wasn't going to be here the whole time, because at some point, Beto was going to come back and there was just not going to be enough room for Florial. So you figured maybe, again, he was going to be part of some sort of trade or nothing. But I guess, again, it seems like I said at the opening of this episode that he was just kind of going to be a placeholder for someone else, and it turned out to just be a placeholder for Colton Brewer. So the Yankees make the move for Colton Brewer. Again, pitcher, 30 years old. I was with the Red Sox for a couple of years, as well as the San Diego Padres. There's not really special about him. I mean, in 91 innings pitched for his career, he has an ERA a little over 5.04. So you're not really impressed with that. Now he has 88 strikeouts in the 91 innings, so it's a little less than one strikeout per inning. So again, not really impressive. And he's gave up 109 hits in 91 innings, so it's almost averaging like a hit an inning, sometimes 2 hits an inning. So again, nothing about his numbers that are impressive. He is 30 years old, so it's not like some young 22-year-old that throws like 105 miles per hour and you just, you're hot on him as a prospect. So I don't know. I really don't understand the move fully by the Yankees. Again, I did mention that, yes, the Yankees should bring in as many arms as possible, because we saw what happened last season. They all just got decimated. And so, yes, have it. So from that aspect, it makes sense. But, Colton Brewer, I don't know what, Cashman sees in him. Now, again, when he was with the Red Sox, he played with the Yankees quite a number of times. So I guess maybe Cashman saw a number of those games, and maybe there's something about him they like, and they feel, with Matt Blake and Boone, they could kind of, maybe if they work on a few things with him, they could kind of, up his level him up, so to speak. Now I do trust Cashman. He usually has a good eye of finding guys like this, i.e. Clay Holmes, or like a Wandy Peralta, just finding guys at the right time of their career, and then they come here and they flourish. So I'm okay Cashman giving him a shot. I'm just telling you about his numbers don't really impress me. So again, I just don't understand the move. But again, let's see what Cashman and Matt Blake have up their sleeve. Maybe they see something about this guy that, hey, if we just tweak this, we get him to throw it this way and do this, he'll become a whole nother pitcher. So that remains to be seen. So that brings us to the finale game. And I'll call this the Jhony on the spot game. So again, the Yankees were kind of shorthanded in the staff there. Again, they don't have Severino for a while, Rondon for a while. And of course, Frankie Montas done pretty much for most of the year. So of course, the Yankees are going to have to rely on some of the young guys like a Clark Schmidt, like Jhony Brito, like Herman, kind of pick up the slack to some pieces, come back. And fortunately for the Yankees, Brito did a much better job in this finale game than Clark Schmidt the day before, blanking the Giants for 5 innings, going 5 innings, giving up no earned runs, 6 strikeouts, and this 1 walk. And this was kind of similar to the first game for the Yankees, a bit of a laugher. They finally got on the board in the 3rd inning. With a Judge blast. So Judge with his 2nd home run already this season. So again, off to a good start there. And it was kind of it didn't look like he really got a full extension on it. Even fooled John Sterling. Had like a weird launch angle. It kind of went up, and like at first I thought maybe, is this going to be a fly out, but it just kept going, and kind of barely just dropped in over the left field wall there. So it wasn't like what you call like an impressive Judgian blast. It was kind of more of an excuse me type of home run, but nevertheless put the Yankees on the board at that point. 1-0. Then shortly after, with Rizzo on first, Stanton up. Again, this was the Stanton who hit into the game-ending double play the day before, but this time made up for that. Hit an absolute bomb of a home run, 485 feet, went over the Mohegan Sun, kind of the left part of the Mohegan Sun windows there, out in center field. So again, an absolute bomb by him. put the Yankees up 3-0. And again, from there, you can just turn it off. Higgy got Higgy with it in the inning later, hitting a solo shot there. So getting his first kind of acclamation of the year, getting on the board, the home run stat sheet there himself with a solo home run. 4-0 at that point, and the Yankees will tack on a couple more runs later on in the game, and the Yankees kind of take a bit of a laugh for there, 6-0. And again, I mentioned before, Brito, probably the most important part, just the confidence of having something like that to throw a game. Just like after Clark Schmidt wasn't impressive in the second game, so I would say he would be the star of the game for the Yankees, even though Stanton had that monster home run. And then the Yankee bullpen the rest of the way, including the very new Colton Brewer, going blanking the Giants the rest of the way. Colton going 2 innings himself there. So again, a good debut by him. It's just kind of a bit of a curious move. And again, it's just bad to see Florial, after all the up and down and all the speculation about him, he's going to be designated for his assignment. So he'll probably be put on waivers or something. He'll end up somewhere else soon. So remains between. So Yankees take 2 out of 3. Good start there. And as for some of the injury news I mentioned, Severino working his way back. He did have a throwing session Friday. They said so far so good with that, so no really timetable was even back. And then Harrison Beta, and dealing with the oblique issue, took some swings in the cage. Again, right, so far no negative effects, but again, still no timetable when he's back, so that remains to be seen. So Yankees take 2 out of 3, but they're staying home. They're going to host the Phillies, so the Phillies coming to town. It's kind of this weird start to the season. The Yankees playing all these National League teams. Again, the schedule is going to be a little different this season, where every team plays each other at least twice this year, just to kind of mix it up. So the whole idea is that so you don't have to wait, every 4 years to see Ohtani. You could see him every year. So that's why the schedule's going to be a little funky this, to start at this season. And of course, now the Yankees playing a lot of National League teams to start out. So they will host the Phillies, and the Yankees sending Nestor Cortez to the mound. Now, supposedly Nestor was going to miss his first time through the rotation just with the groin injury, but I guess just the way they worked out in spring training, they were able to line it up where he was able to really not miss too much significant time. So a little good news for the Yankees. So he'll make the start, and we'll see the Yankees could build upon this win. So that's the episode, Section 420, Talking Yankees. Goodbye, Florio. Hello, Brewer, and we'll catch you next time.